Alright, hello everyone and welcome to a brand new video. In today's video, we have some very exciting news because recently they revealed the new Sabo Leader from OP-13. Of course, we knew there was a Sabo Leader coming and we've all been very excited and speculative about, oh, what colors is he going to be? Are we going to get Bello Betty support? Are we going to get Koala support? Are we going to get yellow support, which would have been support for everything, which would have been amazing. I was kind of hoping for a mono yellow Sabo. Unfortunately, that's not what we got. Let me just show you what we actually did get though. So here it is. I am on the dev sim version here, so I can show you this leader here. It's a black and red Sabo Leader, which I was like, okay, black and red makes sense, but they wouldn't do it because we already have a black and red Sabo Leader. And then I was at the same logic saying, oh, we're not going to get a red and yellow Sabo Leader because we already have that. So I was thinking either red blue, mono black, or mono yellow. And they just didn't do any of that. They just reprinted a Sabo that we already have, right, with a different effect. This is a 5k 5 life dual colored leader with the effect, if you have 4 or more life cards, give this leader minus 1000 power. And then Don X1, if you have a character with a cost of 8 or more, all of your characters and leader gain 1000 power. So a very powerful ability that can go both aggressive and defensive. It's very similar to Red Zoro in that way, right? Where it's like he's Don X1 and it gives plus 1000 to all of your characters. But this does it both on your and your opponent's turn, right? And it also boosts the leader, which means you can have a 6k leader, which is super powerful, especially in these metas where there's a lot of 6k, even 7k leaders running around, right? So a very powerful leader. Just being a 5 life dual color leader is insane. And it also has the Dressrosa tag, so there are a bunch of interesting Dressrosa things that you can do with this leader. We haven't done it today, and I don't think it's going to be strong. It's a similar spot as OP-12 Koala is, where it's like, yes, it is Dressrosa tag, you do have that option, but other leaders do that better. You're better off sticking to the Rev Army package. And I think that's going to be the same for Sabo here. We haven't even seen the support for this deck yet. Depending on the support, things obviously might change. But as of right now, I don't have any faith in the Dressrosa. Not at all. It's going to be Rev Army or bust. But yeah, this is the leader. Let's jump into the deck. I have made 2 different decks. I'm going to show you both today. I'm going to go over the cards and what they do and why we play them, right? So starting off with the Bello Betty Searcher. This is just your standard top 5 searcher. We do have a couple different searchers in this deck. We have both Bello Betty, Koala, and Stage. And the reason I have opted to play the ratios the way I do is because Bello Betty, top 5 searcher, that can find anything in this deck, right? It is full Revo, so it can find literally anything in this deck. That's why we have it at 4, because it's top 5 and searches anything. Koala is left at 2 because it's only a top 3 searcher, right? But it also can't find Koala, right? And we run 2 copies of, or 8 copies of these Koalas here, which this Koala is going to be super important to your game plan. And not being able to find it off of this Koala is going to be super bummy. So we only have Koala 2 because it can fill up our trash in a pinch. But other than that, like, Koala is not that good, right? And then we have the Stage at 3. Stage is going to be a very pivotal part of our game plan, as it allows us to fill up our trash, cycle our hand, find our pieces. It does literally everything that this deck needs to do, right? Because you can set up the trash very meticulously, so you actually can like pull off your plays, right? So super strong card in this deck. Could totally go up to 4. I only have it at 3 right now. We could totally go up to 4 without any problems. But those are, yeah, that's the searcher package, and that's why I've done like the ratios the way I have. I don't think you need more searchers because you have access to both Koala as well as the Captain's Assemble searcher event, but you do not need that many searchers, all right? That's too much over the top. You do not need to play 24 searchers, okay? Doesn't make sense. It's too much. But then we have this Koala here, which I spoke about just now. It's just an 1-cost activate main, slap a Rested Dawn on your leader or character, right? Which is going to be super important for us to curve out because we do have a Dawn X1 leader effect, right? So slapping a Dawn on our leader for free helps us curve out like really well. And it being a 1-drop means you can just drop it whenever, like early game. Let's see, I start my game with like a Betty in hand, and I'm like, okay, I'll keep this, drop a Betty, ooh, boom, I found a koala, boom, slap that down as well, you know, if you're going second, right? So super interesting card, and I think it's going to be very powerful in this deck. Don't worry, I know this card is expensive. You do not need to buy it. It's getting reprinted in PRB02, which is before this leader even comes out. So you do not have to worry about getting these cards just yet. They will be reprinted in PRB. Then we have 2K Koala. This is just a good 2K, right? I mean, this is a 2K, right? But you can drop it for 2 Dawn to reduce something by 3K. And then, like, if that's a rested character, boom, now you can easily swing into it. While you're also establishing a body that becomes 4K after leader effect, right? So it becomes a decently sized body while having an incredibly strong on play. And it's still just a 2K as well. It's insane. So very, very good card here. And then we're going over to Sabo, which is going to be a 2K that can help us boost our Rev Army characters when we need it, but mainly just a 2K that is playable off of the Ivankov. Then we have Ivankov, obviously a key piece in something like Bello Betty. It's going to be really strong in this deck too, because it's not going to be that difficult to boost it thanks to our leader effect. So it can go up to 7K, which means you can cheat out something else, which means you can apply a lot of pressure. So super powerful deck indeed. And then we have Karasu, which is obviously everyone knows Karasu. On play, give -1000 to one of your opponent's characters or leaders, and then when attacking, do the same. So you can just reduce the power of your opponent's leader, which makes it super easy to swing into. Super powerful card. Then we have one of the main powerhouses of the deck, which is going to be Ivankov here, 5-cost Ivankov. This card is a 5-cost 6K that checks the top 3 cards of your deck, and then you can play up to 1 Rev Army card with 5000 power or more, which is basically our entire deck, right? That's why we built it the way we did with all these 4 drops, because we want to maximize Ivankov consistency, because this is such a powerful card, right? And depending on what you hit from this, you can actually pop off like crazy. Then we have 1 copy of 6-cost Sabo, just for that little bit extra removal. Works really well with something like Koala as well, and it can be playable off of 8-cost Dragon. Then we have these black cards here from OP-12. These are just 4 drops that become 8 drops, right? They all have different effect, but it's not that deep. Mainly they become 8 costs, which can trigger our leader effect early, which means we can become a 6K leader already on turn 2, which is super powerful. But yeah, we have Hack, which is super anti-aggro, right? On KO. Papa 4-cost, it's super powerful. We have Morley, which is just a 2K. And then we have Lindbergh, which is a cycler, but also just becoming an 8-drop is super important. So super strong cards here from OP-12. And then wrapping it up with OP-12 Dragon, which is going to be the main source of power for this deck. 8-cost, bottom deck 3 Rev Army cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck. And then you can play a 6-cost from your trash, which is literally our entire deck. We can play literally everything from our trash, right? But your main target is going to be that 5-cost Ivankov, because what that does is you can go 8-cost Dragon into 5-cost Ivankov. 5-cost Ivankov can go into Ivankov. Boom, leader effect, slap a Dawn on here, it's a 7K. Boom, 7K Ivankov into Karasu, for example, or into Hack if you need to be more defensive. Heck, even into Lindbergh if you need to cycle your hand. So that is the power play of the deck, right? You just get to 8 and then swoop, you have a full board and they can't really do anything to deal with it. And then we have Stage. Stage, I talked about earlier, just a crucial piece to set up your Dragon plays, set up your Ivankovs in your trash, even something like 6-cost Sabo, and just cycle your deck through to find your necessary pieces. Super powerful deck indeed. This is going to be what I would personally run. You could definitely tweak some here and there, but there's nothing that I would know until I've done further testing. Right now, this is what I've built. The ratios are insane. The consistency is super strong. And yeah, that's it for this deck. But we're going to take a look at our second Sabo deck as well. This is going to be very different from other Sabo decks that you're going to see. As you can tell, I'm not even running 5-cost Koala. I'm sorry, 5-cost Ivan God. That's how crazy this deck is. This deck's concept revolves around going 8-cost Dragon into Sabo. And I know this doesn't sound too broken, right? On paper, oh wow, you can play a 6-cost that pops 2 4K or less, like combined power. Doesn't sound very good. But this deck has a lot of power reduction ways in Race Max and Ace Sabo and Luffy. So what you can do is you can set up Race Maxes before like playing your dragon, right? And there's an argument that you should play things like was it Building Snake? Like Building Snake, or even like the other one, which is Gordon, which have the exact same effect as Race Max, just to like pre-set up a board that can then reduce things, and then boom, Dragon Sabo, and you can KO 2 things at once. This basically reminds me very much of Moria Lucci, right? Where you go Moria and then you go into Lucci to KO 2 things. The difference, of course, being that these 2 bodies are humongous, and this is power based, which is arguably better than cost based, and we are able to set up on earlier turns, right? We set up our power reduction in advance. So it's like basically how they do with 4-cost Kusan in like Gecko Moria, right? They drop Kusan and then they swing with it, boom, Moria, pop, pop, pop. They do crazy shenanigans. But let's go through the actual deck list from top to bottom here. We have 2 copies of Tama just as a 2K that can reduce in a pinch. We have Bello Betty, our searcher, of course, very important. Race Max that you can set up early to then reduce something to make Sabo hit bigger targets. On that same line of thought, we have the new super rare Ace, Sabo, and Luffy from OP-13, which is just a 1-drop 2K that activate main, you can trash it and attach an active Dawn to one of your leader characters, which, by the way, works great with our leader effect. And then give minus 3,000 powers to something. So it works really well with Sabo as well, so you can reduce something and then KO it with Sabo. Then we have 4 copies of Koala. This might not be necessary in this deck. You could probably drop it down to like 2 maybe, but it is just so good to just curve out with the Sabo leader effect, right? It's super important, especially to have that little bit extra survivability, to always be a 6K, especially because you can boost your board as well. It's just a very powerful leader effect, and we want to make sure that we have it as often as possible. So that's why we're still running 4 copies of Koala. And then 2K Koala, again, just works so well with Sabo, like reducing something, and you can go Dragon and Koala in 1 turn, so you can do a lot of strong plays while still setting up a strong board as well. And then Sabo, of course, KO up to 2 characters with a combined power of 4,000 or less, so you can KO 2 things, and with only 1 reducer, like Koala, you can KO 2 things with a 7K power or less, which usually means you'll prop something like a blocker, but also a decent body. And you can also just, like, in a situation, right, where your opponent has like a 0 cost out and a 7K out, that becomes really powerful because you can KO now, let's say, Sanji Pudding, but you can also KO a Chopper blocker. Or you can KO a Rebecca blocker, but you can also still KO like a Lucci. It becomes super powerful when you add reducer, right? And you can KO fucking a Cavendish and a Rocinante blocker in the same turn. What the fuck? Then we have 2 copies of 8-cost Dragon, the Rush one. This deck is going to be a little bit slower than the other deck, so you need some sort of finisher to just wrap the job up there. And Dragon just does that, right? It's Rev Army, so it's in color, it's searchable, and it's just a good card. Then I have 4 copies of Hack, Morley, and 3 copies of Lindbergh. Same reasoning as with the other ones. These are just good 8 drops, right? They become 8 cost, which can trigger a leader ability, which makes them really powerful, and they all serve good purposes anyways, like Hack being a blocker that can KO a 4 cost, and Morley being a 2K. And Lindbergh probably could go down to 2, but you still want to consistently hit one of these pretty early, so you can start setting up leader effect, right? 8-cost Dragon we already talked about. 2 copies of Rad Beam is one of the more interesting takes I have here. A lot of people would argue that Waxing Fist is better. Waxing Fist is what we got in the OP-12 set, which is a 1 cost plus 2k, and then if you have a Rev Army type character with a cost of 8 or more, that card gains an additional 2k. I just think Rad Beam is just less conditional, so like why not use it while we are red? If you want it to be searchable, boom, Waxing Fist. If you want it to be less conditional, Rad Beam. But I opted for Rad Beam in this list, especially since we're already running so heavy Rev Army, right? You don't really hurt by running Rad Beam over it, right? They're running 1 copy of Round Table. This is kind of just my spicy tech. Because on 10 Dawn, you can do Round Table and Sabo and KO 2 characters with a combined power of 14,000, right? Means you can KO 2 things that have like 7,000 power, right? You can KO 2 Sanji Puddings. How insane does that sound? And the way this works, right, with power reduction is that if you use this on something and makes it go negative in power, that does mean that you can now KO something that is bigger. Let's say I use this on a 5k body to make it negative 5k. Well, now I can KO that and a 9k body with this, because negative power, the way it works, still would add it up to 4,000 power. So super cool card that you can take. I'm gonna have to playtest this, but this could literally go up a bit, just because you can do them both in one turn and just instantly deal with whatever your opponent answers with, right? They play out a big thing, boom, you pop big thing and another one. Very funny things. Then we have the stage card here, which is obviously the stage card. Super strong card and helps you cycle through your deck and find your pieces. Those are going to be the 2 decks that I'm going to go over today. If you want to see like gameplay and stuff with this, please let me know in the comments below. I'll be super happy to answer anything you wish to say. And if you have any other tech choices that you would like me to know about, please let me know in the comments as well. Other than that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I hope to see you again in the next one. Peace.